What is up, you guys? This is All Day Any Day One on the PS4, and I'm giving you a nice little breakdown for Magik. Um, yeah, so let's get started with it. So, let's just go with her traits first. She's got two trait boxes. She's got the fighting and energy as her main attributes. Fighting being her main damage, and energy being her I believe they're both damage trees. Whoa, it's crazy. Um, health on hit. She gets health on hit automatically. 20% defense multiplier, 20% deflex rating multiplier, 600 deflex rating, 600 defense rating. When you hit with the melee power, damage reduction is increased by 8% for 3 seconds, and they do not stack. Your base damage, you get plus 25% for all summon powers, so she's a really good summoner. But we're not going to be doing too much summoning. Well, we will have summons, but not as your main priority. Soul slashing, you want to have that on X. Stepping disc, you can put that anywhere if you're liking. I put that on L2 circle. Sorceress eruption, I put that. I don't think it's called sorceress eruption, but whatever this one is on the very bottom left, you want to put that on the regular square. Soul shockwave, I put that on circle. Soul brand, I put that on triangle. Command Nazareth, I put that one on L2X. Dark Alliance, L2 square. Otherworldly Nova, I put that on L2 triangle. And yeah, so Otherworldly Nova is a really good ability to have, because one, you basically get a full health regen. It's your signature. It does a huge amount of damage. Probably not, I wouldn't say the best signature in the game, but definitely one of the best signatures, because it does a big AoE. It only hits them once, but it does a really big AoE, so it can hit multiple enemies. It's not called Dark Alliance, it's called Dark Pact, but with the talent it's called Dark Alliance. But with this, you want to have this because it'll basically not give you more health, but your lesser demons will take that 23,660, so it'll take 120% of your max health, and the damage of the enemies that do to you will transfer to the lesser demons up to that point, up to 23,660 damage, and then that's when you start taking damage. You gain 25% more damage while that power is also active. It's a 10-second duration. Soul Brand, you deal 1892 damage per second, twice per second. It's 8-second duration. Enemies become vulnerable. They take more damage and take extra damage when that are received by your demons. So technically, they're taking like 20% more damage from your demons. Command Nazareth is a really nice DPS. It's called DPS summon. Demonic fire damage. Oh, when you activate it again. So once you activate it the first time, and once the cooldown is done and you activate it again, that demon Nazareth is gonna shoot he's gonna shoot a demonic flame, fire, whatever. It's gonna do 9426 to 14,138 damage. Dimensional tear damage will do 4598 twice per second. Infect damage 1337 damage twice per second. Duration for Nazareth is 1 minute long, and you have a 10-second cooldown. And Nazareth has 450% of your max health, and he has a 70% damage reduction. So that's just crazy. Really nice to have. You know what? So both of these will be explained during the talents, because those two are going to be your big damage dealers. Soul slashing is it's going to give you spirit on hit, and it's just nice to have, you know. So when you go to talents, not going to worry about this, I'm not going to worry about that. Deadly Fangs, magic powers, apply Soul Blaze, Spirit Fangs gain the following effects: fires more projectiles in wider arc, cooldown 6 seconds, damage 150%. That doesn't matter. Buff effect, Soul Blaze. So the buff you get from Soul Blaze, you get your melee power damage is increased by 15% for melee powers. So that one's really good to have. So whenever you use magic abilities, you get Soul Blaze, and Soul Blaze will give you melee damage, increased melee damage. Um, Blood in the Air. Soul Brand increases all damage Magic and her demons deal to affected enemies. This is a good one to have, and Burning Brand is a good one to have. Soul Brand reduces all damage affected enemies affected enemies deal to Magic and her demons. Enemies defeated while under the effects of Soul Brand explode, dealing damage to nearby enemies. So this is actually the talent that I used during my first Cosmic Trial run for Dark Alliance. So this is what I was talking about. Dark Alliance, Dark Pact transforms into Dark Alliance. Dark Alliance summons 2 random lesser demons when activated. Does not require demons to be summoned. So that means you don't need the lesser demons in your loadout. You already have them with the Dark Alliance. And they always absorb damage equal to 120% of your max health. Sever the Silver Thread. Gain additional souls when you hit with a melee power. 2-second cooldown. Soul Sever consumes all souls, gaining the following benefits per charge consumed. 20% damage increase, 20% crit hit chance increase, whatever. Critical hit chance increase. So whenever you gain souls, you gain with melee. You gain souls when you use melee abilities, 2-second cooldown, and yeah, it's not too bad. Well, even if it doesn't necessarily, yeah, no, it actually does help you. So, Explosive Will. This is what I was talking about. So what I was using at first was Otherworldly Command, and then I tested out Explosive Will, and this is just a far better talent. So Soul Shockwave is an 8-second cooldown. So Soul Shockwave and Sorcerer's Eruption used to have no cooldown on it, but the thing is now they give you 200% more damage for Soul Shockwave, and it does a 300% AoE effect. Sorcerer's Eruption deals 200% more damage and a 50% increase in the AoE. So those help a lot. You definitely want to have those for her. For the synergies, I'll go down and list what is good and what isn't necessary for her. So Angela, again, Angela is good for every character because every character has cooldown powers. Ant-Man, not necessary for her. Beast, good for her because of the melee damage. Black Panther is good for melee and movement. Black Widow, melee and ranged because of that whatever Sorcerer's Eruption and the other one. So Blade is good, health on hit, you get more health on hit, 3% attack speed. Captain America, not so great. Captain Marvel, not so much. Colossus is always good to have for more defense. Cyclops is good to have, especially the Spirit on enemy hit. Energy damage, don't worry about it. Spirit on enemy defeat, is good to have. Daredevil is good to have for the damage against normals and elites and the 2% melee damage bonus. Deadpool, the health regen, you don't need explosive, but health regen's nice. Doctor Strange is a really good one to have. I have Doctor Strange, but I haven't leveled him up yet, but he's a good one to have. Gambit, not so much, except for the energy attribute is good to have. Ghost Rider, you don't need firepower damage. Hawkeye, the movement speed and crit damage helps a lot. Hulk, the 3% health obviously helps for every character as well as Hawkeye's. Iceman, you don't need it because you don't have any ice abilities. Iron Fist, the health regen is good to have, but the hand-to-hand not so much, obviously, since you're using a sword. Iron Man's ranged damage is good. You don't need the energy. Jean Grey's range damage is good. Don't need Sidekick. Kitty Pryde is good for whatever. Luke Cage, the durability attribute is always good to have. Defense rating is always good to have. Or if you have defensible stats. Magik, obviously you want hers for the health on hit and summon. Moon Knight is risky, 10% damage while below 50%, but high risk, high reward type of deal with him. Well, I wouldn't necessarily say high reward because it's only 10% damage bonus. Nova, you get a 3% movement speed, so it's not bad. Dominant dodge, you don't need so much. Psylocke, you want to have her melee because she gives them highest melee power damage bonus, 2.5%. So that would be really good to have. Punisher, the 2.2% ranged power damage is good to have. Rocket Raccoon, definitely want to have his summon power damage for that extra 10% or 5%. Scarlet Witch, damage over time. Yeah, you definitely need it, but it definitely helps for the soul brand soul, whatever it's called. She-Hulk is a good one to have for the health regen and health, obviously. Spider-Man, you don't necessarily need his dodge. Squirrel Girl, always a good choice for a synergy for the damage against bosses. Star-Lord, don't need the gunpowder damage, but the spirit does help. You don't need storms, synergies, don't necessarily need Thors, except the defense will help. War Machines will definitely help you a lot, especially with the +1 fighting attribute, will give you more in your base damage. You don't need Wolverines. For my infinity points, let me restart these. You can either go to energy or fighting. I'm more than likely going to go with fighting, and I'll go with that. So yeah, if you don't have 25 points, then I would probably go with Strike Through, Temporal Loophole, or Micro Warps. Micro Warps for more defense rating, or Gravity Well for more health. But Temporal Loophole is nice to have for the attack speed and movement speed, and Strike Through is really nice to have for the more extra brutal damage. And for the gear, not necessarily just the gear, whatever. For my my medallion, I have the reason why I'm using Hood's medallion. I don't have a higher Hood medallion because this was the best option I could get for him since I got brutal strike rating on it. I use it because, well, you have teleporting with Magik. You gain 5% movement speed and 606 dodge rating, and that effect can stack up to 3 times, so that helps a lot. You can have up to 15% movement speed if you use all 3 within the 10 seconds. You want to have crit and brutal strike and brutal damage on everything, even the gear. Your catalyst, this isn't so much of a great catalyst. The mystical bonus is nice. Cosmic one is the best one to have, but I do not have the 25% regen. You want the 25% regeneration will give you, or whenever you use a medkit, you get 25% regen to your max health and spirit or whatever it is for her resource. So that would be the best option for her. I'm using Relic of Xander because she does have ranged abilities, but you don't need to use that. You can use, honestly, you could use any of them. I wouldn't use the Relic of Wakanda. Relic of Gibram works for the more spirit. Relic of Subterranea works for more defense. Relic of Atlantis works for more deflect because she does use deflect. Actually, does she? I don't think she's... it doesn't matter if you use Relic of Atlantis or not, I guess. But Relic of Xander is definitely one you want to use if you want to put out more damage. Advanced Amulet of Agamotto. I'm not sure where I got mine. I'm pretty sure I just got it from patrols. You get 342. Well, you get 1 to 3 intelligence, 342 damage rating to magic powers. When health drops below 50%, negate half of all incoming damage for 10 seconds, maximum of 6,000 damage taken. 271 defense rating and 11.3% attack speed. Really good. Sharabis Neotum. You can only equip one of these. So this is really good to have for her because one, she's a summoner, so she can summon 6 mayhem demons whenever she uses a signature power. She gets 878 critical damage rating, and that mayhem, the 6 mayhem demons, it lasts for 30 seconds, but it's a 5-minute cooldown. You have a 10% chance when you hit with a cooldown ability or power to gain 4.7% attack speed for 10 seconds. That percentage can change for anyone. 545 damage rating to summon powers and 841 brutal damage rating. So those are really good to have. The Broken Crown, plus 4 intelligence, 478 damage rating to magic powers. When your health drops below 30%, become invisible and summon a horde of Loki illusions for 3 seconds. 30-second cooldown. You get critical hit and brutal strike rating. So you get this. I'm pretty sure you get this only from Loki. I haven't gotten it from anyone else. I think you get it for completing that quest, whatever, the very final quest. So Neptune's Trident is probably the best option in my opinion for her, because, well, one, you get crit hit rating, 1000 crit hit rating for rank 3. You get your summoned allies get 50% more health. They also get 1500 damage rating for, you get 1500 damage rating for summon powers, so your summons will be doing 1500, not 1500 more damage, but whatever more damage 1500 increases by. 5% chance on any hit to fire mystic beams, dealing 10,000 damage to enemies and healing allies for 5000 health. 3-second cooldown. For rank 5, 5% chance when you hit to create a deadly tsunami that does 5000 damage or energy damage twice per second for 10 seconds, and making enemies take 10% extra damage, basically from anything. And it's a 5-second cooldown, so that's really nice to have. Stats, I'm under 30,000, not necessarily where I'd want to be for her, but I guess she doesn't necessarily need to have a lot of health. Damage reduction is at 30%, so that's a good, she's in a good spot right now, kind of, for her damage reduction. For her offensive stats, I have 11.3% attack speed, 3102 crit hit, 7661 crit damage, 2597 brutal strike, and 4596 brutal damage. And that's all coming from her, obviously, her cosmics. If I had cosmic ring and a cosmic medallion with the same stats, I'd probably have, well, I'd definitely have a higher rating for those. But if you're just in full purple gear, I would say you'd only need, I want to say, really just like 16 to 1800 critical hit and brutal strike rating. And then for the critical damage and brutal damage, I want to say 3500 to 4000 for those damage ratings. I'm at 48% damage rating, which is really low. It's not what I want. I would definitely want to be at least 80% and higher for the base damage rating. Even 60% would be a good spot, but 80% is generally where you would want to be, or higher. So yeah, I will show you guys each ability, what they do. So this one, let me just read what they're called: Sorceress Eruption and Shockwave. So Sorceress Eruption is an ranged AoE. Both of them are ranged AoEs. So this one does a giant circle on enemies. So bam, that's what it does. For Soul Eruption, whatever it's called, I don't know. It shoots out like a giant blade at your enemies. And then you have the Soul Brand. It does an AoE and damage over time as well, also making them vulnerable. Your summons, summon Nazareth, summon a giant green demon, and he does nice AoE. And then you have this ability, the what is it called? I completely forgot. Dark Alliance. it summons 2 demons, those 2 lesser demons, and what happens is when you summon those 2 lesser demons, you also gain um, the damage absorption. Those lesser demons will absorb your damage for you. And then you have, so I'm gonna go and take some damage real quick from this NPC right here. Your signature will give you a, oh shit, healing right there. So my health just regen right there from using my signature. You can use your signature, I believe, like every 30 seconds or so. And yeah, so with Magik, you see that giant green bomb that he just did? That's when his cooldown is already reduced again. So yeah, that's basically all that you need to know for, oh my god. So that's basically all you need to know for Magik with this build. It will take you a few tries to get used to it, so what I would do is practice it in the training room, do it in operations and patrols, get used to the build, or even run the superheroic trials to test it out there. And then once you're geared enough, like once you have the purple gear and the stats, whatever, then go into cosmic and then run it. So that's it, and peace. Oh wait, but if you like the video, go ahead and like it, leave a comment and let me know what, if it helped you out or not, or if you want to see other builds as well. And yeah, so it's all day any day one, and good day, good night, whatever. Peace.